every day we make money decisions. So are we making informed decisions?
Yeah.
I've been through all seasons.
Yeah.
Lost everything twice.
Lost everything twice.
Yes. And
Twice.
Twice. So you know what a money monkey is a personality where you become too religious, especially when you're broke. So I used to go for this early morning mass, and I used to take my wallet and apply holy water. You know, sometimes we feel like the only way to waste money is drinking.
Yes.
Wait until you find that person making emotional decisions.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Financially Incorrect. I am your host, Barak, and remember, this is a podcast sponsored by FX Pesa, who are on a journey to educate 1 million people on financial literacy. Be sure to check them out, their resources, their website. We will put a link in the description box. Today, I have Amos Ngahu, a financial coach who I guess has spent his time trying to help people make more money and manage their money, and then educate people on money as well. So I think this is the first financial literacy person that we've had sitting in this seat. So I think it'd be interesting to hear about how you made your own money and how you then ended up in this space in the first place, and I guess how you then advise people how to make even more money. I'm assuming you have like billions and billions of shillings too. It's one of those things where I assume you have to have a lot to be able to educate people on how to get more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually a billionaire in my head.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me, and congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you.
And especially on reaching out, you know, the million plus
Yeah,
people. It's really a need out there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that motivates me to, you know, talk about money is every day we make money decisions. So are we making informed decisions? For you to wake up in the morning to fuel your car, to buy yourself breakfast, every day we are making money decisions.
Yeah.
So my work really is to help you make informed decisions and to live with the consequences. And regardless of whatever season you are in, you could be a season where you're barely surviving, and you could be in a season where you can afford everything. So it's up to us also to help you relate and deal with the seasons that you are in. Yeah.
What's a scenario? What's like a client that you've like gotten out of the gutters completely, and gotten them to to like financial freedom? Or is it like the Netflix series how to is it called How to Get Rich?
Yeah, How to Get Rich.
Is that like the role that you play?
Not really. In fact, I don't go far. I won't go far with this story. I'll start with myself. I've been through all seasons.
Yeah.
Lost everything twice.
Lost everything twice.
Yes. And
Twice.
And you can imagine.
Is that before you were a financial coach?
Along the way, because you will find there are people who will come and this is interesting that if, for instance, a lady reaches out, ladies are more proactive.
Okay.
So they will come when they feel I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm spending too much, or I'm thinking of, in the future. Yeah. But mostly men will come when things have gone south.
when things are problematic.
And especially this age, if you find a 33 and above looking for you, things are already, are already bad. Yeah. And for me, it's about walking a journey. You will find clients who, like for instance, we are forming communities, and you'll find clients in real estate. Someone has an apartment of 19 million, they're making 85,000. So even if you are to put it in a 10% return annually, they will definitely make more. So we are helping them restructure. So you see, this is a person who's not struggling with the basics. Yeah. Then you will find a youngster. They have been sponsored to go to school. They don't have a job. They don't know where to start. Yeah. This is a person you will not discuss investments. You start to, show them how they can be able to generate one or two coins from, randomly. So it's a whole different game. So we don't have like a specific person who started from scratch all the way to the end. It's a journey that we started with people. Yeah.
And let me ask, like, what's the secret sauce to making money or to financial literacy? Because every time I see any of these ads that come on my Instagram or just stuff that I see and people talking about, you need to do this financial course or you need to do this, I usually try and think to myself, like, what is it that I really don't understand around money that that's the secret sauce. Like, what is that I don't get it? Is it that people put money in tenders? Like, where are people doubling this money from? Because my understanding of how to generate money is either you do a job or you have a service and people are paying you for it. So my question is always like, what is this thing that I don't get that people are either doing that then allows them to be able to double, triple, or X whatever their money? Yeah.
I think the biggest lesson, this is as for me, that money is very, very emotional.
Okay.
And most of us go looking for it without understanding it, without understanding our journey. Because one of the things I learned earlier is that when you especially men, when you have a lot of money, emotions are high. You want to, you want to please your children, you want to please your family, you want to please your parents. Everybody must know that you have money, isn't it? But now when we don't have it, it's what I call borrowed confidence. Your confidence was based on your ability to provide. Now you no longer have it. So people need to understand that for you to create wealth, you need to understand what you're getting yourself into and what defines you. In fact, if you go to the good book, it will say it is God who gives ability to create wealth. So there are some people who've actually been given that talent. I'll give you a case in point. You'll find couples. Let's say a lady is an accountant, and most of them tend to have this personality of a hoarder.
Okay.
So they are hoarding money, so they will save. They're very good at budgeting. And then you'll find a guy is a spender. And I've noticed something, that most spenders are attributed to some form of another personality where they are sanguines, where they are able to mingle with people, they form quick relationships. And I've seen a tendency of spenders having a lot of ability to create wealth because of their nature to spend on others. So you'll find their wealth creation strategy cannot be the same. One will have to loosen up and invest the little that they have. But this other person who's a spender will have to stay on the offensive to see what opportunities they can be able to generate. And most of them create wealth out of relationships they have. These are people who will help you sell a property, they get a commission. They help you secure a joint venture, they own a property on the same. So it calls for a lot of understanding of yourself and money and your personality and your journey to understand that I cannot compare myself with anybody else. Yes.
So it's like a tailor-made solution for each individual to be able to make money. So I have my capabilities or limitations, and you have your capabilities and limitations.
Exactly.
And our abilities to generate wealth are capped at different levels based on our personalities and who we are.
And based on the privilege that I have, I will find myself in a year. I've spoken to thousands of people one-on-one. And some have very sad stories, some have beautiful stories. And sometimes I ask myself, would I have survived such a thing? You understand?
If you were in their shoes.
If you're in their shoes. And that is why, even for me, I'm privileged to have gone through so much, so that when a man comes, especially men, they tell you, they start with a statement. By the time they're finishing that statement, you have an idea of what this guy is going through. And now you're able to walk with them through the journey, because it looks easier if someone has gone through it. So that you don't feel like you're the only one. So it's a holistic approach towards finances, because the moment you understand your ikigai, you understand what that means, that there are things you're good at, you can earn money from, you're able to, and all other factors, you're able to find a place and know that this is my purpose. And from there you can be able to see I'm in the right place.
Okay. So let's get into your money journey, I guess. And maybe, let's start at the beginning. I guess that's where we always start. What was your environment like when you were growing up? Like what kind of space did you grow up in? What kind of money setting did you grow up in?
Typical. It's good you've asked that question, because that will bring out the issue of culture as when it comes to money. Let me say that I've not grown from a very wealthy family, nor from a very poor family, because we having 4 siblings.
Okay.
And my mom being a stay-at-home mom, so the income was 1.
Okay.
So we started picking these habits of, that it's not always there.
Okay.
It's not always there, so you have to fight for yourself. And it was quite humbling sharing the little that you have.
Is there something in particular that happened for you that brought out the consciousness of it's not always there, and you have to fight for yourself. Is there a story? Is there something that
definitely? I think I must have been in Form 2, and I think we had a strike back in high school.
Okay,
because some rules changed and they were not favoring us anymore. And I remember we were all kicked out, but I had a fee balance. But the rule is, if you strike, you must come back with full school fees. And my dad was not in a position. You know, my dad, may God bless him, he's still alive.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has been very casual in money decisions. He's those guys who will hear him ask mother in the morning, we had a shop, give me 100 bob, I'm going to work. He was in marketing. Lunchtime, he comes back with a vehicle for work, and he has a lot of money and he's dishing out, you know. And, you know, that casualness happened. So he's a guy who will be like, we're opening schools on Tuesday. I don't know why our schools used to open on Tuesdays. But he will make sure that mother gives you the fare to leave. Okay? He'll tell you, I'll talk to the teachers. And that's the end of it. Until you're kicked out, that's the day he'll remember you.
So
you come back, he's like, I had money, but you just wait. And don't go outside. People may see you and say that we've not paid fees. By that time, I go home and I find my brother. And you have to wait. I remember, so that time I stayed at home for a whole term.
Yeah, a whole term.
A whole term. And in Form 1, I'm those A students who went in, and I was not even studying whatever the teachers.
Yeah, like you.
Teachers, I get it.
Yeah.
I remember, in fact, the maths teacher used to give. Did you enjoy the days of a loaf of bread unsliced? Are you from that age?
I have experienced it insofar as my shags is concerned. Yeah.
I'm sorry, cool kid. But you know, back then a loaf of bread was going for 19 shillings a block, and it used to be such
the Broadways.
I don't remember. Yeah, it was Broadway.
Yeah,
and I
so one that has like a
block unsliced.
Yeah.
And what happened is that the teacher used to give, based on what she taught last time, she would come and give an example before she starts. Whoever gets it gets a loaf of bread, and I would always take that loaf because I was very bright. But now going into Form 2 and I missed a whole term, I never studied. So I went back to play basketball, and that was the end of it. Okay. So it's up to that point that I realize how casualness can actually ruin our financial life.
Yeah.
And I tell people we have to be very deliberate about money decisions that we make, planning prior. You know? That's where now I started thinking, hey, you have to fight for yourself.
That was your and in this context, when you say fight for yourself, what does that mean in the context of you and your three brothers and I guess being in your house with your parents? Does it mean that you are the one who you need to be the first person to tell your dad, hey, I have fees coming up, so you need to pay for me, and don't think about the other
remember
brothers.
The way we've been brought up, you don't talk to your dad like that.
Yeah.
You have to be very humble, sit down, ask your daddy. Whenever we wanted something, I remember we had some sort of a script that, Dad, do you have money? I don't have this and this and this. Then he will tell you, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
So, but it happened after high school when I realized I went in with an A, came out with a C+.
You went into high school as an A student?
Came out with a C+.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realized is that this guy was not interested in paying my fees. And I was very good in basketball. I didn't have shoes. So where do I go? The first go-to hustle, for guys my age will understand, construction site, where you'd earn money and probably take care of yourself. So I said, now, immediately after high school, that's when I realized that I'm on my own. And that's how I started hustling.
Okay, so your hustle starts with you getting into construction. Mjengo, essentially.
Yes.
The casual day.
Very painful. And I haven't told you yet that I was fired because they thought I was too soft.
Wait, before you even get fired, right? Before you even get to the firing, right?
Yes.
So as your what is it that makes you think your dad isn't interested in investing in your education beyond high school? Was it purely a monetary thing, or was it he felt like now if you've moved from A to C, like there's no point?
It's a combination of all. You know, this is a man who is the only one who had the privilege of going to school. In his own space. His two elder siblings didn't go. He actually took the younger sibling to school. So this is a guy who's thinking, I was expecting much from you.
Yeah.
Plus, he's also going through cash flow. And you know, men, when we don't have money, what do we become? Money avoiders. We don't want to have any conversations. So you realize you're spending the whole day at home, you know, doing nothing.
And there's no conversation.
There's no conversation. In fact, if anything, you're a nuisance. And you see, our fathers are not like us, who are very having conversations with our kids. No. He'll tell you, get out of here, get out of my face, and you'll have to go away.
Yeah.
And you have to go and hustle for yourself. You have to go out there. Yeah.
Okay, so that then gets you into construction.
You have to. I wish we had more fathers like that to actually, bullying you into your destiny.
How much are you being paid at this construction day?
Quite interesting. I was paid a lot of money, 110 shillings per day.
Per day?
Yes, per day. So, and we used to be paid on Saturday at midday.
Okay.
So on Saturday at midday, I would make sure it was quite interesting. Mm-hmm. You'd actually cross over. It was somewhere in Juja. Mm-hmm. So you'd actually cross over, and I remember there was a crush who was my neighbor. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I would time the time she's leaving. She was going to USIU. Mm-hmm. So I'd walk with her and tell her I need to go back to Thika because now she's going on the different side.
Right.
So I'd escort her to the stage. For me, I'd come back, wait for the matatu to go. Then I would cross over and go to work. And every time I got a chance in the lunchtime, I would actually clean up so that I go take lunch, then come back. So I remember this one day I had forgotten. I thought, let me rush, quickly. I don't think I'll meet up with her. You know what they say, the day you choose to walk out naked is the day you meet with your in-laws. I bumped into her, and that was the last time I saw her. I'd never talked to her again because I had,
So, and did she ask you? Why?
No. I was so embarrassed.
You didn't even have the conversation.
I said hi and quickly left. Boss, you're having, cement on your face. And you look grey.
Yeah. So there's no
explanation. So that time it was quite tough because you're used to manual work and you're not used to it, and then you're busy being bullied by the main fundis because I was the guy for fetching water in a wheelbarrow. Okay. So you would actually put not in gallons, but a wheelbarrow just full with water, so you're balancing. Yeah. It was quite tough.
So all day you're carrying, you're ferrying water in a wheelbarrow.
Yes, from a certain dam over there. Yeah.
And you're being paid 110 shillings a day.
Yes.
So on Saturdays, if you're working for, how many days are you working? 5 days, 6 days?
6 days. So you'd get 660 shillings.
At the end of the week.
Yeah. In fact, there's a very sad story that amongst the weeks, I met up with my dad after I've been paid 660. Yeah. And he was like, I'm going for a check somewhere. Give me 500, I'll come back. Yeah. 3 hours later, my friend, he came home high as a kite. Yeah. So my 500 bob went like that. Yeah. Small money can pain you, eh? Yeah. And
how are you spending this 110 a day, this 660 in a week? How are you spending it?
Now, here's the thing. In that particular economy, things are not so expensive. So you'd make sure you have something to wear. You'd buy yourself some sneakers for basketball. You are liquid. You could take, talk to a girl, but that's on Saturdays or on Sundays for a picnic. But you don't tell them
when you're clean. When you
clean up. Yeah. Yes. So it was a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah, being liquid.
And so your transport was your transport was catered for. You're able to.
Yeah, and sometimes you'd find that my dad doesn't have money. My mom is a stay-at-home, so you'd find there's no food, and you'd tell her, I think I have 100 bob. You could actually buy some food. Okay. And that's how we survived.
Okay. Yeah. So what comes next? Because I guess actually, why do you get fired and how do you get fired?
Yeah, I don't think the guy liked me, the main fundi. Because those are the bosses. Eh? Yeah. So he will tell you, bring this size of a stone, and then you go. He's harassing you, and then you've done stairs all the way to take the blocks. Yeah. And he didn't like it. And for me, there was a time I was like, boss, decide what you want. Yeah. That was the last time I attended that job.
So he told you this is your last paycheck.
And what they normally do, they pick everybody in the morning. You get. Okay. So if there's a lot of koroga or anything, that's the time that there's a lot of mixing. That's the time they will have a lot of people. Yeah. But on other days, they will even look for any excuse to fire you. So I was fired. And then my dad used to service fire extinguisher, so I started working for him. He was not paying. Yeah. But I remember one time he had sent me somewhere, how I recovered my 500. Yes. He had sent me somewhere to a client, and he told me to service this fire extinguisher, you'll charge the client 700 shillings. So I left early morning, only for me to service the fire extinguisher, and there were 4 more. So in total, there were 5. So the guy was going to pay me 700 for all. I was like, no. It was 700 for one. Yeah. So how much is it? 3,500.
Yeah.
So on my way home, I'm thinking, you know that feeling, that voice that tells you, please split the money.
Yeah.
Put 500 and the rest of the change on one pocket and the other one on a different pocket.
Yeah.
My dad was so proud of me. He was like, that was fast. Give me 500, you keep the 200.
Yeah.
So in total, I had 3,000 bob
in your pocket.
Yes, and I realized I don't have to do the hard work.
Yeah.
Because I used to earn 600 for a week. Now I've made 3,000 in a day. And that's the day I started realizing that now you can work smart instead of working hard.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the transition there now? What comes next?
So I started now looking for my own deals for fighting equipment.
Okay.
I'd go to shops, hardwares, warehouses, and tell them I could do it. And we registered a company, and that's the time now things are not really, working from the known to the unknown. You'll get a lot of business initially because there are people who know you, but then the service is not due until 12 months.
Yes.
So in between here, you're so broke. And then, sometimes we become money monks. You know what a money monk is? It's a personality where you become too religious, especially when you're broke. So I used to go for this early morning mass, and I used to take my wallet and apply holy water. It was so interesting. And that was the time that I met up with a guy who used to have a nice car. So I just went up to him straight up.
Yeah.
He was there from church. I introduced myself. I'm a son of so-and-so. I like your car.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you have the guts. What do you want to do? No, I would like a car like yours. He told me, come to my office. I didn't have bus fare.
Yeah.
From Makongeni Thika to Thika town. Walked. So the same way I met him is the way I walked into his office. He was like,
on the same day?
The same day, same morning.
Okay.
That's how I walked all the way to his office.
Okay.
He looked at me all dusty, ragged jeans, T-shirt. He was like, go and come when you're smart. Yeah. So I had to walk out again. And he gave me a job in an insurance company.
Okay.
Gave me a file to read.
So you go home, come back, cleaned up, then he gives you a job.
Gives me a file.
Yeah.
Yeah, a file.
He gives you a file. Right.
He wants to see if I'm disciplined. That time there were no open a screen or something.
Right.
I read the file. So went through, it was becoming interesting. So I would walk back to his office. But then, is this really true? He'd be like, yes. Then you explain, I'll go back. Give me a test, I passed. That's how I started selling insurance. Okay. But then the boss was so nice that now the main CEO, after working for years, he, those company events, top performance, they're young, promising, and then they're the legends. Yes. So the CEO was in the legends table. But then he would keep looking at our table because we were like 4 young guys. He moved his seat and came and sat with us. And he was telling us, the future of insurance is financial literacy. So educate yourself and see how you can train people. And I began to get interested. And then there was another guy who also used to use the same strategy, educate people. So I used to attend his classes. And eventually I realized, and I've been called to do this thing. Yeah. Because if you sell without informing someone, people would fall off policies and lose their money. So I started going holistically on financial literacy. Okay. And I think at 26, I was promoted into management with no interviews because I used to go, people like now, if you're my colleague, you get a group of people together, I come and talk to them, and then I go for free. And then you get a lot of business. So the boss had one of their friends telling them, there's a guy who works for you and he's very good. So when the position came, I was promoted. That's how I started leading a team. So by this time, I was doing these things pro bono, doing radio interviews here and there. But then I was invited to go to Juba for certain training. When I came back, I realized it's time for me to quit. Yeah. So I came and resigned and actively now
became a financial.
So this is my 17th year.
Okay. Yeah. And if I'm to work back to, I guess, the period where you had an insurance agency. So what's the first salary or compensation or remuneration that you're getting?
Oh, boss, you start with commissions.
Purely
commissions. Yeah. And I remember you earned 0. I earned 0 for like 3 months. But then the first amount of money that came to my payslip, I remember very well, it was 630 shillings.
630 shillings.
Yes. Can I tell you a miracle that money can do?
Yes.
By that time, we had disagreed with my father. I was kicked out. I was living in a wooden structure.
You were living in a wooden structure?
Yes. Now, if you've lived in a wooden structure...
Yeah. When you say a wooden structure, what Just describe.
Let me create a scenario. If you go to these slums, you'll find iron sheets that have gone around and constructed people's houses.
Yes.
So they do 2 blocks of brick, and they continue with the mabati structure, the iron sheets. Now, earlier, timber was cheaper, so you'd find someone would do an SQ, a standard squatter, but because they didn't have the whole brick thing, they would use timber go around. And where I come from is that when you have young men, they don't sleep in the main house.
Yes, this Simba, yes.
So one of my friends had told me, my bro has left, you can come and stay here for a while. So it was very cold. So what did I have? A duvet. So in my 630 pay slip, I went and bought a duvet. I remember it cost me 350 shillings.
And before that, you were sleeping?
No, I was sleeping in I was given a blanket which was very cold.
A light blanket.
Very light one. But that day, I bought a duvet, my friend. Talk of celebrating small miracles. That was a miracle.
And, sorry. And what did it take for you to earn the 630 shillings? What have you sold on, and at what price for you to get the 630?
It was, I think I'd gone to... a friend of mine was a principal somewhere. Then it was Thika Institute of Technology. Okay. Currently MKU. Okay. So I used to play basketball there. In fact, we gave them the measurements to do the basketball court. So for some reason, the principal then there used to like sports. So he would come by and he would see, this guy is good. So that's how we became friends. So he was actually the first client to give me a business. Yes. So he gave me a policy of 2,000 bob. The commission was 40%.
His personal?
Yeah, his personal. So when 2,000 bob was a lot of money then, and then it was deducted and I had my money. And then he would send me to his friends in the university. That's how I started my first.
Okay. So your commission is 40% at that point. Yes. And what's the pay structure then that you work through to the point that you're at
now management? Getting more clients. Yeah. Getting more clients from the same, and then you'd get referrals from here and there. It was quite a journey, because for me to get to 10,000 took me, almost 2 years.
To be able to get 10,000 shillings a month?
Yes. I remember you'll appreciate that, because remember, you're living in a structure that you're not paying rent. And you're coming from, the story before that is that some days you'd go without food.
Yes, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, and I remember when I started, my boss saw the potential and they would give me like 100 bob every week.
Oh, so even in this period where you're making 0 bob?
Yes.
Like so he would just be like,
give you 100 bob. Now, this was a lot of money. Considering a half of bread would cost 10 shillings and avocado 5 bob. So can you imagine 15 bob for 5 days? You're sorted. Yes.
In terms of the one meal a day, you're having one square meal, right?
Yes. Yeah. And you're walking. You're not using any transport. So earning 600 gives you a lot of appreciation, and that is why also a lot of people will go wrong. You're not appreciating the small victories that you've had along the way.
Yeah. Okay. So how long are you on commission only before you move to a base rate?
Until I was promoted. Until now.
Until the management position.
Yes. So by the time I'm getting promoted, I have grown myself. I think I was earning in a tune of 250,000
a month. And what does it take to earn 250,000 a month in terms of commissions? Like, how many people are you transacting with? What kind of
see, that may not be I may not be given a very accurate answer, because along the way some people will fall off.
Okay.
But take for instance, if you get every month you get a client paying 10,000, so meaning every month you're increasing your pay by 4,000. That's 40%, and plus whatever is already existing, because some of the policies fall into second year and they pay less commissions. Some 30, some 20. So it's a journey. So you have to stay on the offensive, because the more people are satisfied with your service, the more they will refer you to your friends. Yeah. The more they will help you do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So plus it's also now with insurance agents pay withholding tax. Okay. It's not the payee. So even if you're earning 200, the tax you pay is 10%, which is 20,000.
Yeah. Okay. So up to that point, essentially, it's to get to that 250,000, it's a combination of multiple people that you're talking to, multiple clients that are paying on a regular basis, and you've now built a network. And at that point, what are you doing with your 250,000? Because at this point, you said, based on what you said initially, you've also started some sort of financial literacy.
Yes. Yeah. And here's the thing. And this is where I tell people, be very honest with yourself. You can lie to people, but not yourself.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the first thing I did. I remember the first time I earned 108,000 shillings. I went and took a car loan.
You went and took a car loan?
Why? Because my boss was so proud of me. I know that time you've not even been promoted yet.
Yes.
And for them, they'll even do the application for you. You're only signing because they don't believe you should be walking like an animal.
Yeah.
And for me, I was targeting even a car worth 850, but what I qualified for 650. But I was in a circle, so I had to get a top-up from the circle. You get what I've done. So now you realize there's things that come with a car.
Yeah.
Fuel.
Yeah.
Insurance. You know, in that time you want to move around to the village, and people need to know that you have a car.
Yes.
So I remember the numerous visits I did to my mom's house and also back to the village, just to show people that you're there. You don't even tint the car.
Yeah.
Tell me you didn't tint the first car.
My first car was just
my first car was tinted. No, the old.
My first car was tinted.
And for me, I was making all the mistakes that a young person who's held like real money for the first time can do. So the next 4 years, I did nothing. Okay. By the time I was getting to the 4th year, now my boss had started walking me around some of the plots he used to do somewhere in Kiganzo, and he would spend very little money to develop. And he told me, I want to introduce you to this particular bank. I want you to take a loan and buy land. And after that, I think I bought 2 pieces of land. And then I went ahead and took another car loan.
Another car loan.
because I was told I was sitting too much on the floor. Because the car was a small car.
This first car, how long did it take you to pay off the car
4
loan?
years.
What were the deals? What is it? Just 4 years to pay it off?
Just 4 years, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which means you're paying how much per month?
I was paying 25,000 plus. Of course, now there's the top up you got from the SACCO, which was about 8,000.
Okay.
And then insurance, I think I was paying 4,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in total, the car's costing you about
Yeah.
almost 40.
And you forgot the fuel,
a month. Yeah, business of fuel. Yeah, so it's about costing about 40,000 a month, and you pay that for 4 years.
You pay that for
so
basically, you're not doing any other investment because now you're focusing.
On the car. Yeah. And in terms of your living situation, have you moved? Are you living in a different place?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. You see, I was living. Remember when I moved from the wooden structure?
Yes.
I went into a house that had a separate toilet. Man, I love that toilet.
Yes.
Remember the other one, the toilet
where you'd come
outside.
from?
Yeah. I don't want to give that story because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it was more of a bed sitter, a kitchen at the corner.
Okay.
But there was no parking. So when I bought a car, what do?
Park it outside.
No, you have.
You move houses.
Come on, you have to move. But I moved
right.
into a bigger house, which was more expensive, 5K more.
Yeah.
Everything changes. You moved into a 2-bedroom house, so one of the rooms does not have a bed. Your sitting room is big, and you had one couch. What do? You have to do a whole set.
Yeah.
Your TV, you had a small TV.
You have to have a bigger.
Yeah, with the kisogo.
Yeah.
So you had to buy
a flat screen.
No, that time there were no flat screen. They were called flatrons.
Yes.
Yeah, a lesser kisogo. You know, it was quite funny. So by the time, in fact, the top up I needed was 200, but I took the entire amount I could access from my SACCO. So I had an excess of 160. If you ask me where that 160 went, I cannot tell you. And that time, you're looking at. You think you're disciplined. Yeah. You know, sometimes we feel like the only way to waste money is drinking.
Yes.
Wait until you find that person making emotional decisions.
Yeah.
You know, your mom wants to start something, send money. You're liquid, man. Yeah. Until you see your first deduction. Yeah. So I had moved. Yeah. So the expenses now went up.
Yeah. And at this point, you've started the financial literacy. So you're telling people about financial literacy.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem like you're necessarily applying it to
but it's
yourself.
Working. Coincidentally, it's working for people. And that's the other thing, that we don't look within ourselves. Yeah. Yes, we don't look within ourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's when now I also went ahead and tried to discover why I'm not doing this. Of course, buying land, you'll tell people to buy land. I've also bought land. So what is so wrong with my finances? Yeah.
Okay. So, and when you move to now a management position, what does the remuneration structure look like at that point?
Now you're earning 10% of what all the guys under you are earning.
Okay.
Yes, over and above you.
So you don't have a commission per se?
No, your commission plus
So you have a commission?
Yeah, plus whatever else anybody under you is earning.
A 10% on that. Then you have a retainer.
Yes.
What is that sort of amounting
to? The retainer was about 50,000 plus your commission. So I remember the first time I saw my payslip having 400K.
Yeah.
Hey, my friend. I almost framed that payslip.
Yeah.
This is the time you're talking to your peers, your peers who went to do medicine.
Yes.
And they tell you how they're doing. You feel like flashing your payslip. That feeling of like, does this guy know what the amount of money I'm making? Yeah. But they used to work with that payslip.
Yeah.
I still have it up to date.
Yeah.
So I have the one for 630 and I have that.
The one for 400 when you first broke it.
But then here's the interesting thing is that you quickly adopt to that kind of income.
Okay.
There's a nature of spending is a law that every time you increase your income goes up, your expenses will rise up to match the same. Yes.
And you're thinking
and that's why I was thinking, let me apply for another car loan. Now I can get married.
And when you're saying let me apply for another car loan, are you selling the one that you have right now?
No.
Or is it let me just get a second car?
No, I was thinking this one could be, that time I think I'd gotten married.
Yes.
I'm thinking, my wife could use this one, but then I'm like, let me just sell it. Yeah. And even after you sell it, you're not settling the new or reducing the new loan.
Yeah.
You're doing other things.
So, sorry. So at that point, you said now you have a wife. What are your expenses like? This now 400K.
You're like, no, you're like, what do you want? Do you feel like staying at home? You want to work? I got you. My goodness, some of the emotions we ran through as well. Because you're trying also, because you're thinking now, soon we're getting kids. I don't want my kids, those things you hear in movies.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to miss their foundation.
Yeah.
Not forgetting you're killing the other your partner's dreams.
Yeah.
Because they want to do something.
Yeah.
And then there's this notion of you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
In this world, there's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
You have to be a good steward of this.
Okay. Yeah. And when you then transition, when you said you went to Juba for a financial literacy event, come back and decide, now I need to quit and get into this. Yeah. Do you, or what's your financial plan at that point? Or is there any financial consideration?
Blunder number 2, hope. Hope was my strategy. Because I'd gotten promises that we are going to go back there and do some more work, because it was quite green. And this is an economy that is very young.
Yeah.
And people are hungry for information. And only to plan the next training, and then the war breaks out. And you had no strategy for your Kenyan market. So again, you're struggling financially, because the little that you had made is now slowly getting out of it. Yeah.
So how did you survive in that period?
The lucky thing is that time my wife has gotten a job and she's gotten promoted, so she's liquid as well. But you see, now I have not been in that position whereby you're being provided for. Yeah.
What was that like?
Denial. You live in denial as a man. Yeah, you live in denial. Yeah. In fact, I remember there was a time I don't have money. My big car is on. You know how men will operate on when it's E. You know what men say? I know my car. But when it's on half, ladies will go like, I need to refuel.
Yeah.
So I always was sure that her car is always somewhere half. So I'd go and like, hey, your car needs pressure. I need to have your wheels checked out. So you use my car.
Yeah.
Then I'd go with a small car.
Yeah.
Then in the evening, mine is fueled, So,
yeah.
But you're living in denial. You can't sustain that. Yeah. So you have to now, reality hits in when you're having disagreements on, money here and there.
Yeah.
And then for men, when you feel unappreciated, because now you're looking back at all the things you've done, you're feeling unappreciated. But this person is also looking at our future. You're careless with our future. You understand? So our point of views are normally very different, and that's when reality checks and you have to step up and do something. Yeah.
So at that time, what's your... I know you've told us sort of where your psychological, sort of emotional state is, but what's your day-to-day? Like, what are you doing? You're waking up in the morning. Are you hustling? Are you trying to pitch financial literacy to different institutions? Or what are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis? Because I've heard of different stories I guess when people lose jobs and it's like, I don't know how I'm going to
you're all over trying so many things. In that time, you have many theories.
Yeah.
But you've not narrowed down to one.
Okay.
So I remember it's actually in my book. I've put this in my book. Is one day I realized, I need to write down some of the things I need to do actually to come out of this. Because the second car, I've quit my job and the second car is still on loan.
Yes.
And someone tells me, hey, your car is being looked for. So you better hide it. So I've hidden my car.
You're those guys who take the car to sharks so that the auctioneers don't find it.
Yeah. and you hide it somewhere. And I asked myself, hey, dude, you need to be serious. What are some of the things you can be able to do, even to give you a 500 bob? Mm-hmm. And that time I remember the lady at the bank gave me a till number. That was my first till number. Mm-hmm. And I started listing down the things I could be able to do in one of the mirrors. Mm-hmm. And I wrote down 9 sources, some within my capabilities, some that require a bit of capital. Mm-hmm. And one of them was being intentional about helping people navigate their financial situations. Mm-hmm. Whenever I'd go on radio, I used to do it for free. So I put a price on it, and coaching basketball. I'm actually a certified coach.
Yes.
And I started looking for opportunities, which I got. Mm-hmm. And with a little till number, they will not take your car if there are payments in between the month. And within 3 months, that's how I got rid of my loan.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realized is that sometimes we look outside ourselves, but within we have different things that can be able to help us generate this income. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's why also for people in my personality, I just don't look at savings. Savings may only get you up to a certain point.
But you need to
being
generate.
offensive, you need to generate. You need to be on the offensive. You're not Mourinho.
Okay.
You can't park the bus the whole
the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, you can't.
And on this 3-month period to sort of finish that loan, what's the amount of money they were talking about at that within that 3 months? Like, how much is it to clear that loan?
I remember it was about 440 something.
That was the balance.
Yeah, that was the balance.
Okay, so you generated this 440,000 from the coaching opportunities, from being able to now charge people a fee to be able to help them navigate the financial space at that time. And a question: when you start getting these financial clients, are they asking you what your financial position is? Does that conversation or that question come up at all?
No. Mostly they will not do that. They will come on the basis of there's something you said that I connected with.
Okay.
You get
whether it was on radio,
whether it's on radio, mostly radio. Then TV became a bigger thing, and even today you'll find a lot of people now. You've shared a video and they're like, you've touched and especially I like realistically sharing my stories because I may not be where I want to be. I told you I'm a billionaire inside my head.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to convert that quickly. And one of the things I've learned is the biggest lesson for me in behavioral approach to finance is contentment. Contentment is a big thing. If you're in a season, you have to accept to go through. So even when someone asks me where I am, I'd be very honest and tell them this is where I am. Okay? There's a difference between being content and also being mediocre and settling for less. Settling for less is that there's some things you need to do, but you're not doing.
Yeah.
But contentment is I have done everything I need to do as by my ability. Yeah. And now I'm still looking for things I can be able to do. So these are two different things.
Yeah.
And for me, it has been being genuine with people has really helped me even to form long-term relationships.
Okay. Yeah. So after you pay off the loan, then how do you, or maybe even let me sort of fast forward to a point, because you said you've lost everything twice. So let's talk about the first time you then lost everything. How did that come about? Or have we already talked about the first time you lost everything?
It was about that time I had an office somewhere.
Okay.
We had a friend of us who used to invest in Forex. We lost our life savings.
How did that happen?
I sometimes I don't like going into that story because I don't feel like I'm fully recovered, and that is why even in my trainings when I met the team from FXPesa, I was very hesitant. I think I had PTSD on trading.
From trading,
because we were actually making an informed decisions.
Okay.
Because the return was quite high. Someone trading for you. It's not us trading. Someone is trading for us and giving us 10% in a month.
Okay.
And then they take out of the 10%, they take the 20%. So you're left with 80.
Yeah.
And you see now you become careless because it's a regular thing.
Okay.
And once we lost it, and some of my clients were also the insurance clients, so they pull out even from the policies. So your income comes down to around 30K.
Yeah.
30,000 shillings.
Yeah.
And you lose everything, my friend. You're leaving the car at home.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of leaving the car at home, but you're thinking, my wife might think I'm doing very badly. So you leave with the car, leaving at the shopping center, and take a matatu, and in the evening you come pick your car and go home.
Come back.
Yeah.
And at what point in your life, in the timeline, is this happening? The time for the forex? Is it after you've already left the insurance place and you're now trying to sort of get...
No, you're still in it. You're still in insurance.
It's still while you were in the insurance place?
Yes.
Okay. So you had a friend who was trading forex?
Yes.
So over a period of time, a couple of months, you gave him a little bit of money and he's able
Not a little bit.
No, before you do the life savings.
I mean, it was so sad. Sometimes I feel like also being open to the people around you can set you free. Because it took me a whole year to tell my wife, we've lost everything. And that breaks the trust, my friend.
It took you a year to tell her?
A whole year, yes. In fact, she had as a hearsay from someone. And you see, the nature of men is that we want to protect them. You know, you don't want to find out,
And within that year, are you
Boss,
are you trying to make the money back to recover it so that she doesn't know?
There's not even trying to cover.
Yeah.
You're trying to put out the fire. You're trying to tell your clients, hey, hold on, don't even pull out from my policies because you will be reducing my income. Stuff. And I don't know. Have you ever gone into before? Have you always known how to swim?
Well, I was taught how to swim by my mom when I was about 6, 7.
Okay.
So I don't really have...
Barak, that's show off. let me tell you something. Some of us were taught how to swim.
Yeah.
Because I served in the children's ministry in Sunday school. And we had gone...
So you were taught as an adult?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was taught by my kids who I was teaching in Sunday school.
How?
So we go to this swimming pool. It's a day out in our church. And they're behind me and telling them, guys, you have to go in slowly before I finish all of them. Choop, 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 deep end.
Yeah.
Then I'm there thinking, you guys are good at take care of yourself. They're like, Mr. Amos doesn't know how to swim. Come, we teach you. And then I didn't realize they were in the deep end.
Yeah.
Ever heard of a drowning man will clutch at a straw? My goodness, I had a long day, and they're here trying, and then they're like, Mr. Amos, sorry, we thought you're tall. Let's go to the shallow end. By that time, I'm holding on to them. Then they were quite smart. Some are going under and pushing you up. That's a prize I paid.
How old are you at this point?
And I remember that time I was holding on to some of them. I think I hit one of them in panic.
Yeah.
As the same scenario when you've lost everything and you're dealing with everything in panic.
Yeah.
You're trying to hold on to this, trying to find out, and this guy he even received threats from other people.
Yeah.
Because it was a whole drama.
Yeah.
I remember that time you don't want to talk at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I told you when men reach out.
Yeah.
Things have already gone south.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was quite interesting.
Okay, let me ask you. In between when you're saying you lost everything, what range are we talking? Are we talking 5 to 10 million, 10 to 20? Like just for context to be able to be like, okay.
We're talking about the first range.
Between 5 to 10. Okay. Or between 10 to 20 million.
The earlier one. It was below 5 million.
Oh, it was below 5 million. Below 5 million. Yeah. Okay.
But remember, this is something you've taken over years.
Yeah, that
time
you've
it was
worked
a lot
on.
of money.
Yeah, you've worked on for what? Okay. What happened? How do you lose things the second time?
Now the second time is now, and we normally say before you lose money, you've lost relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, you've lost a lot of things. I lost a lot of contracts. Things were shaky in my family, and it became a place where by now you had even to move from the house you're living to a smaller house.
Okay.
And this is the time that now you had to sit down. I mean, all sorts of drama in your head, suicidal thoughts, and then COVID came knocking, and came so bravely. And
so this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah. And that was a time now you had to sit down and say, you know what, whatever. And that's when I came to understand. You've heard of people say, whatever crumbles, let it crumble. That's where I sat. Yeah.
And what was the lead up, or in your retrospect, what was the lead up to you losing everything? Was it greed? Was it?
For me, I feel like then I was very bitter about it. Today, I feel like it's destiny. I feel like everybody needs that story. I feel like it's part of my journey. Because to a point whereby you've lost everything and you're all alone in a room, you're wondering, is this it? You know, is this how it ends? To a point you're crying to God and you're telling him, hey, boss, this is how it's going to end. Yeah. You get it.
Okay.
Because you don't even have cash flow. You remember when people were talking about COVID money?
Yeah.
I was a beneficiary. But legally. I used to earn 1,000 bob every Tuesday. Message on M-Pesa, government.
Oh, so you actually got COVID money?
Yes. How, I don't know. Probably it's because I'm law abiding.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But for me, it was a surprise. I don't know how they got my data, but it was so timely. It was so timely.
And I don't know to what extent that you can sort of speak about the actual happenings before the loss of everything, but was it a business deal gone wrong? Was it reading the markets wrong, or someone screwing you over?
It was more of bad money decisions on my end, and also a family issue. So I may not be able to get into the details of the same. Yeah.
That sort of led to all of that. And how do you then, as a person who's a financial consultant, how do you reconcile you being in that position? Because if you said you've been in the space 17 years now, at that point you'd been there well over 10 years.
Yes.
So how do you reconcile with yourself that I'm a financial expert and here I am now?
That's the hardest part. And this is where now you have to go outside yourself and look at your scenario, because it's like advising your younger self. And one of the biggest lesson I learned from a friend of mine, I don't know if I'm allowed to use this kind of a language. He's actually a pastor. And I didn't know he was a pastor. We just met somewhere, in awkward situations. And I was like, who's that guy? It seems deep. And one of the conversations we had when I told him my story, he was like, every dog eats poop. And he used the S-H-I-T word. But it's only the stupid ones that leave some on their mouth. That really hit deep. Because he told me his story and I realized it's until you hear someone else who's gone through the same that you realize, my goodness, this is a season. And that is why even whatever I teach, seasons are very pertinent part of my trainings. When I train you, we must go through seasons. Because that is how life is. You've not always had a straight line. There are things that will always challenge you on when it comes to money. So for me, that really changed everything. And I was able to accept that this is life. Deal with it. And that's why I had to accept everything to calm down and let me now start understanding my seasons. And when my seasons are over, I have to prepare for each and every season coming. Will I go through such a deep again? I do not know. But am I ready? Yes, I'm ready.
If it comes.
I'm ready. Because if that thing didn't break me then I feel like I'm here for a while. Yes. And it has helped me a lot, because sharing these lessons with people, they are real. They may not make sense to you right now, but some people, they are so real. They are so real. Yeah.
Okay. So, how are you making your money now? Like, what are the things, I guess, that constitute your financial revenues right now?
Yeah. I started something. I had started social media a long time, but when I started now, sharing my stories, I remember there's a story I shared that went viral. And I think in a week on TikTok, I got 10,000 followers. And from there, now people followed me. So in that beat, I get, people to, as an influencer, to do content for financial institutions. Money Gossip, we registered Money Gossip. Money Gossip is, everybody says they don't have money, so we talk about money in its absentia. So we started classes, and we do offer training, monthly classes on the same. We offer financial therapy, whereby we sit down with our individual. I have that yellow couch in my office where people sit comfortable, put their legs on top of the table, on the couch. They tell me how long they've been feeling they're broke.
Yeah.
and it's quite useful. Then within we form communities. So we form communities of people in various investment sectors, real estate, who subscribe to the same, and then we offer corporate trainings. So that's how we've discovered over time how we can actually drift and spread this financial literacy in so many ways. Yeah.
Okay, so now financial literacy is essentially your primary form of whatever's. What about investments? Have you made any other investments other than, you talked about the do you still have the car, by the way?
Yeah.
Did you sell it?
Even when things went south, I had to sell it.
You had to sell it.
And even bought a smaller one, got an accident. It was on third party. You've ever heard of starting from scratch?
Yes.
Yeah.
But how old were you when you were starting again from scratch?
That was 5 years ago. I'm now 41.
Okay.
So that should have been 36.
36.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That must have been... Yeah.
Yeah. I tell people after 30, just expect, be ready for anything.
Yeah. Would you? I mean, at 30, if someone told you, in 6-7 years you're going to have to start from scratch again.
No, I'd say they are rumors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not possible.
They are not possible. Denial. Ever seen that video of that woman who guy gets into an elevator? He's like, "Are you going down?" No, I say, "I'm not going down. I'm not going down.
Yeah.
My only way is up."
Yeah.
So then the guy is like, I'm talking about the elevator. So that is me, that lady.
At that point,
we are so much in denial.
Yeah.
You just have to look around and see people are going through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be.
And how difficult was it for you? Because I'm sure, like you're saying, you're going up, so you have your projections and you're looking at yourself going forward. How difficult is it for you to reconcile that, what, this has either a road bump or a stop or whatever it is, and this thing is setting me back against the expectations that you had? How difficult is it to reconcile that, and how practical is it?
I think the biggest difficulty in it is when you know where you're going, you've had dreams of where you're going, but self-doubt kicks in. That thing can ruin your life. Self-doubt. I realized for me it was very difficult. Until now, you go outside there, you give a talk somewhere, and someone's like, you have something going. I mean, I follow you, I listen to you, you understand? That is why for me, even when I go to my DMs, you will get paid. Nowadays, social media will pay good amounts of money. But what is so rewarding is when someone tells you, you changed the way I think. You change the way I make money decisions. You understand? And that is the one that keeps you going. But now when you look at yourself, you're like, man, I'm doing this, but I'm doing it while limping. I'm limping my way through it. And by the time you realize, it can be discouraging, but you can't stop. You have to keep moving. You can't resign to fate that early.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 final questions. If we look at this second time, and I know we've said that the other things, we can't speak about that specific second time when you lost everything, but if you're looking back now, are there things that you could have done differently that could have avoided that happening?
Yeah.
In a very advisory, general response sort of sense, yeah.
Oh yes. One of the biggest thing is don't be in denial. You have to accept your seasons, whatever it is. Number 2, manage relationships around you. Okay? I normally say that, especially in marriages, be an open book. Because now the baggage becomes lighter, the expectations are managed. Because most of the times as men, we want to protect our loved ones. That's why we'll not disclose everything. But you see, the moment you're an open book, this person will even know how to cover you. You understand? In so many ways. But now you go back there and then finally, don't make decisions alone. Because the decisions you make will affect everybody around you. So think in terms of consequences. Are there consequences? Can your people handle the consequences and how will they affect them? That is why it's very important for you to talk to people. So those are, for me, very important lessons because it sets you free. It sets you totally free. And that's the third. The final thing is that understand these are seasons. There's a season you're in a good place. There's a season you're bad. The good book says that I know the seasons. Hence now you need to prepare for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see this is the person who was putting holy water on your wallet. last question, right? Because you said by the time you've lost money, you've lost relationships.
Yes.
Would you care to expound on that?
Let's say, for instance, we are buddies, and you're paid. The most common debts Kenyans have. Our money has not come in. It's coming in tomorrow. So do you have like an extra 10 G's I'll give you back tomorrow? Now, come tomorrow, you've been paid. You've not bothered even telling me what's up or even sending my money back. Come the day after tomorrow, I meet with you or I try to call you, you're not even picking up. Are you together? So in my heart, I'm already thinking this guy is not trustworthy. I've not lost the money yet. So even by the time you pay me the money or refuse to pay the money, our relationship has been broken. Trust has been broken. And that's why I normally say it has never been about money. It has been about managing relationships. It has been about the emotional beat of money. Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Last thing you want to say, if anything at all?
Oh, yes. There's something I've come to understand that, coaches will tell you have financial goals. But over and above that, I challenge people to have financial standards. Because standards will not change, goals will. Because the moment you form a good money culture that's about standards, and then whatever you're doing becomes sustainable.
Last question. Last question. I've realized that actually on this podcast, I tell everyone that at least 3 times that this is their last question. So it may come again. But final thing. So you seem to have this difficult relationship with your father, at least at some point. So when you start making money, and when you do have money that's now coming in, before the tumultuous period sort of come in, how are you relating to him? Because obviously you said that you knew that he wasn't the best with money, was in the best position, and it's a one household income. How are you dealing and relating with that? Yeah.
Well, it kind of affected me because you see, he's always made money decisions. So even me walking into marriage, there was nothing to discuss. A man makes all the decisions.
Yeah.
Then I realized I was being casual. But now, learning after this, of course, we are good friends right now. He still has his challenges in spending money. And in any African setup, any age of parents, that we are relating with, they are living somewhere. They have assets, but no cash flow. You understand? So we are sending money, but most people will send money to their mom. Considering to their father, because they know if you send money to the mom, there is food. This guy might be investing in his social life. So sometimes you'll carry him a drink, whatever he needs, you'll carry for him, but cash you give the mother. And that is the unfortunate thing about today's man. If we are planning to rely on our children, we are cursed. Yes, we need to, because a lack of retirement will hit men harder than it will hit women. Women can always move into their children's houses, isn't it? Can you imagine now you moving into your father's, into your son's or your daughter's house?
Yes, that's very difficult.
That happens.
That's going to be difficult. So,
we have a cordial relationships, but of course there are boundaries.
Yeah,
there are boundaries on which we can engage, and it's very important. Like any other thing, even if you're having issues with black tax. I mean, one of the sources or one of the solutions to black tax is having boundaries. There's several boundaries that you can have.
That you create. And based on, because I know you didn't tell us what that disagreement was, but you said when you're moving into this wooden structure, it was out of a disagreement you had with your dad.
Yes.
So when you now start making money, I guess to be like, I am going to support, I am going to send. Do you have any resistance in your heart?
No. In fact, our reconciliation was quite deep and emotional.
Okay.
Because for me, I was sorry for what I had done.
Yes.
Yes. And he put me in my place. I was kicked out. And reconciliation was good. And where I come from is that I have a sister, a brother, and my kid bro. So there's a title they give to, because I'm the only one named on my mom's side. There's a name you're given, And mostly it said, I don't know if it's a myth that that name, if you bear that name, it's hard for you to go broke. They are very creative. Second-born sons, look at in any African sector. They are normally, not the wealthiest, but very resourceful. So he used to call me that. Of course, now you're making money, your title changes. But there's no decision that will be made before
yes.
you're there. But of course, now everybody else now came through. The things worked out well. So it is quite a thing, to a point whereby he'll wait until he's taken his drink to tell you all the things he wants to tell you. You're my favorite son. So I hope my brothers get to watch this podcast, that they know that I'm my father's favorite.
Okay, fair enough. All right, thanks so much, Amos. I've had a really good time, and I think I've gotten some really, really good lessons. Specifically, the money relationship quote. I think for me that's really big. I hope each and every one of you are able to take something out of this. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Let us know who you want to see next. If you have any questions for Amos, please put them in the chat as well. We can get them to him. You can find him on his social media platforms, which are...
on TikTok is Money Gossip.
Okay.
Gossip, normal gossip. On Instagram is Money Clinic KE.
Okay.
Money Clinic, yes.
Okay. All right. And we will see you guys on the next episode.